Hello, 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 everyone. Come on into the webinar. I am Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your host for this evening. Let me scoot up a little bit. I want to be a little bit closer to you. And as you come in, give that city and that state a shout out. Let me know where you are coming in from. I'm in the land, not too far from Cleveland, Ohio. So come on in. I see you coming in. Let me know where you're coming in from. And we are going to get started very shortly. Just checking our text setup here. All right, let me know where you are coming in from. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I'm in the land not too far from Cleveland, Ohio. Hello, Idell from Nolans. Nolans is in the house. And Alicia from Orlando, Florida. Oh my gosh, I've been to Orlando seriously probably about 30 times. And in all honesty, I've been there so often. I feel like it's almost my second home. And I've been to Nolan's as well a couple of times. Yes. Let me know where you're coming in from. We're going to get started very shortly, just letting a couple more people in. And then we are on our way to talk about how you can absolutely still get grants right now. Even though we're in a very interesting environment, you can still get grants. There's so much grant money available, which I will show you as we move through. All right, all right, all right. So we're going to get started. And I'm going to share my screen. And you should be able to see me now. All right, all right, all right. So this is grant writing for women-owned businesses and women-led nonprofits. This is my 7 o'clock session. We were on live at noon too, and we had such a great time. And I know we'll have a good time tonight as well as I share some information with you that I don't think a lot of other organizations are sharing. So let me just get started with my background. Yes, they call me the Grants Queen because I have secured it's almost $18 million now, won $18 million in grants and funding. And this is year 17 of me owning my company, LaPop Consulting. Every one of those years I've spent as a professional grant writer. But now I teach grant writing all over the country for your private organizations and then some of your major organizations from Goldman Sachs to the Urban League. And I'm a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. Now, yes, I have a business, but I used to lead a nonprofit. So I've been on both sides of that coin. Yes, yes, yes. So let me know who is here with me. Let me know in the chat, are you a small business, meaning you could be an LLC, a sole proprietor, a partnership, an S Corp, right? Or are you a nonprofit? Or are you both? Because I'm finding that a lot of for-profits are starting nonprofits. So maybe you're both. So let me know in the chat. We've got a small business and an LLC and a nonprofit. Excellent, excellent. So you're in the right place because we're going to talk about grants for both of those entities. So whether you are a small business or a nonprofit, there's grant money available for you. Now, a little bit about how I got in this space. I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania. I was there, great job, traveled the world. Then I got hurt and literally the bottom fell out. When I got hurt, I literally came home in a wheelchair. Had to put everything I own in a storage unit. Had to move in with my sister. I couldn't even work for 2 years. It took me 2 years to get to the point where I could even work. So when I say I know how it feels to start from nothing and to start from the bottom, I get it. I think I started from sub-zero because I had to heal first. I had to get well first, right? And then when I started to be able to work, I couldn't find a job. I was in Cleveland. My experience was in professional publishing in Pennsylvania. So that is when I started LaPav Consulting. It wasn't because I had some dream of being an entrepreneur. It's because I like to eat and I needed a roof over my head. So I started LaPav Consulting. And one of my first contracted positions was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. And people who know me know I like to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real with you tonight. When I started, I don't think I was there 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office of that nonprofit and told that I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary, that's how I was going to get paid, was if I wrote and won a grant. I had never seen a grant before. It just wasn't in my wheelhouse. I literally had no knowledge of grants. But you know what? I did it. I researched. I wrote that grant. I won that grant. So I'm here to tell you that you can win grants with zero experience, right? This is what I've learned after having been in this industry for 17 years. There is a process to winning grants, right? And I have developed a framework that is a winning framework so that you, even if you have never written a grant before, you can become successful at winning grants. And that's what I'm here to show you as part of this framework that I've developed. All right. Also, it taught me what you can do with grant money. After 17 years, I hear from you a lot. I know you're tired of using your own money to pay for your dream, whether it's your nonprofit or your for-profit. You're tired of digging in those pocketbooks, right? Or you're tired of wearing all 20 hats, right? You're doing everything. You can use grant money to hire help, to hire contractors, to hire staff, right? To be able to create a website. So we'll talk more about what you can do with grant money as we move through. But why not pursue someone else's money to help you with your dream that you don't have to pay back? All right. So we'll talk about what is going on right now with grants. I'll give you some grant basics. We'll talk about how do you prepare to apply? What do you write in the application? How do you write the application? And how do you start attracting the organizations that want to give you funding, especially in this environment? And I'm so glad you hopped on so that you can get the correct information. There's a lot of misinformation out there about grants. I'm going to show you how to get noticed. I'm going to show you how to conduct the grant research so that you're finding the grants. And there are billions of dollars in grants available right now. And then we're going to do a Q&A. So make sure you drop your questions in either the chat or the webinar. So there's a webinar chat and there's a Q&A box. Either one you can use. And then I have a surprise for you at the end. I even have a list of grants for you so that you understand that, yes, right now, there are still grants available, very much so. So why are we here? We are here because we as women leaders need access to money. And guess what? It shouldn't always be about loans. Like, are you as tired as I am? I'm hearing about loans. We want grant money because grant funding, you don't pay back. And let me say this to all of you. You can do this. You can write and win grants. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You're not writing some 500-page document, some 300-page document. Some grants are 2 and 3 and 4 pages. So you can do this, but please know that there's a process to winning. That's what I've learned after having won almost $18 million. There's a process to winning. And that is what I'm going to teach you today. And you know what? It's about more than what you write in the application. All right. So let's first talk about what is going on with the grants. We know that the federal grants have been decreased, they've been cut, they've been rescinded, they've been frozen. But guess what? Here's the good news for you. Federal grants do not equal all grants. Federal grants only equal a portion of grant money. Grants come from thousands of resources. So your private foundations, your community foundations, your family foundations, your corporate foundations, they are still providing grant money and lots of it. And yes, they provide grants to nonprofits and small businesses. So you're good. You're covered. But what I would advise you to do is think about how you're going to diversify your funding. Like, don't put all your expensive eggs, right, in one basket. Yes, seek grants, but also seek sponsorships and individual donations and corporate contracts. And yes, as a small business, you can get a corporate contract. You don't have to be some huge conglomeration. Here's a unique opportunity that exists right now that didn't even exist last year. Right now, because so many people are assuming that there are no more grants, there are fewer people applying, so there's a little less competition out there. So you are going to swoop in and start applying for these grants. Also, your local community foundations and corporate foundations and the family foundations, you know what? They are increasing. increasing their grant funding, trying to fill in the gaps caused by the federal funding. So what does this mean? There are more grants being released right now from non-federal funding. This is a win for you. So you need to act on it. All right. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, DEI. We know that covers diversity, equity, and inclusion, which includes women, people from any minority community, veterans, the disabled. Here's what's happening. We know that the federal government has cut all DEI funding and wants other organizations, including foundations, to cut theirs. But guess what? A lot of these foundations give to these communities. They've always given to these communities, and guess what? They're not going to stop. So here's what they're doing so that they don't feel the wrath coming out of the White House. They're tweaking their language. Oh, they're still giving to women and minorities and the disabled and veterans, but they're tweaking that language so that they're not using language so that they are going to be highlighted, right, by the White House. But here's some more good news for you. There are some foundations that haven't changed anything. They give to communities involved and included in DEI, and they're going to continue to do so. The Ford Foundation, the Kellogg Foundation, they've been giving to these communities for decades, some of them well over a century. They're not going to change because of what's coming out of the White House. So there are some foundations that still absolutely, proudly give to these communities. And then your newer foundations like Google, Apple, Delta, Costco, they also give to these communities, but they're more influenced by what's happening in DC. Therefore, they're needing to tweak their language a bit so they're not necessarily using race or gender. And I'm going to show you how to do this because this is exactly what you're going to do. So let's say you have a program where you target Black boys. That's who you help. You don't change who you help. You're going to tweak that language. So instead of you saying our program offers youth development opportunities for Black boys, you can now say we provide youth development for historically underserved and underrepresented boys. You took out the word Black and you put in the condition that you're wanting to address. Serving boys disproportionately impacted by economic and educational inequities, or supporting boys from communities designated as high need or underrepresented in STEM. You see what I'm doing? I took out the ethnicity and the race, and I put in the issue so that you're still getting that application through. The same for women. Let's say you provide employment and career coaching for women. Now you may have to tweak your wording to say our program offers workforce development support for those facing systemic barriers to career advancement. Women, right? We're just using some different terms here. Providing career development services tailored to those who experience what? Unique workforce challenges due to caregiving responsibilities, right? Wage gaps and systemic inequities. We call it in the grant world quiet DEI. This is very important for you to get because this is how you're still going to get funding, even though quote unquote DEI cuts have been made. You're going to tweak that language. So give me a yes if you understand what I'm doing, because this is very important for you to understand how you might need to tweak that language a bit to get that grant application through. Because at the end of the day, your goal is to do what? Is to get the grant money. All right. Everybody got to give me a yes. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm doing here, because this is very important to you getting grant money in the future. All right. I see some yeses. Yeses. That's right. Alternative phrasing aimed at conditions. There you go, Leisha. All right. Perfect. Okay. Now let's get back to the grant basics. Grants are not paid back. Full stop. Right? Now, I saw some nonprofits. Make sure you get your 501c3. That is your tax exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. All right. Now it's taking about 8 weeks to get the 501c3. Hang in there and get it because you are going to need it. Now, this is just for nonprofits. Make sure you are checking the chat because we're going to be dropping some important links in the chat. I want everybody to look at this slide. This is annual grant giving. The last solid number that we have is from 2023. It's $189 billion from foundations and corporations. Do you see federal funding on this slide anywhere? No. I'm here to let you know that there are billions of dollars available that's being given out every single day in the form of grants that have nothing to do with the federal government. So you need to get in this game. You need to start applying for the grant money. And I don't want you to look at these numbers and be overwhelmed and think, oh my gosh, like $189 billion, like I'll never get any of that. Because at the end of the day, I need for you to focus on what you need. So I want you to write in the chat, all of you right now in the chat, I just need a little bit, because you just need a little bit of $189 billion, right? You don't need it all. Focus on what you need so that when you see these large numbers, you're not overwhelmed thinking like, oh, there's just no way. Focus on what you need. This is a huge pie, right? That's right, ML Harris, you just need a little bit. Leisha, Constance, you just need a slice, just a slice of this pie, right? Because this money is being given out every single day, regardless of what you're saying on TV. All right. Now, I need for you to be grant ready. That means you are ready to apply for grants. This is where many organizations go wrong because they see the application, they download it, and they wonder why they get a rejection letter a few weeks later. First of all, hone up on your writing skills. No, you do not have to be a professional writer. Here's the quickest, cheapest way to do this. Download a software editing tool into your computer. I love Grammarly. If you use Grammarly, I want you to give yourself some love in the chat. It literally will self-correct as you write. You download it onto your computer. So when you're writing in a Word document, emails, Excel, it will self-correct. It will give you suggestions. Why is this important? Because what I don't want you to do is to submit these grant applications full of grammatical errors, and that is so easy to do. I am a professional editor, a professional writer, and professional grant writer. I would not write without Grammarly. All right? All right. All right. All right. You use Apple Writing. Is that another program, ML Harris? Sounds like that's a program similar to Grammarly. Use something. That's all I'm saying. Use something. All right? Now, to be grant ready, you need to get those documents in order, your EIN, your 501c3 nonprofits, your articles. Are you a legitimate business? You need a list of your board of directors nonprofits. If you're a for-profit and you have a board, great. Get your list together. Also, get letters of support from your organizations who know of your work. It could be everybody from the mayor to your pastor, community leaders. Let foundations know that you have organizations that support you. Also, you will need an operating budget. Don't be freaked out by the term operating budget, because all it is a document where you are going to list what you think your expenses are going to be for the upcoming year, itemized out. How many supplies do you need? Do you need staff? Do you need curriculum, right? Do you need security? Do you need a website? You just list it out. Because by creating this document of how much you think you're going to need to operate over the course of a year, it will also help you to determine how much grant money you might need. But first, you need to know approximately, anyway, this is a draft, how much money it's going to take for your organization to operate over the course of 1 year. Now, if you are currently operating, you know you need your financial documents, right? Your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. Now, let's get to the grant application. I'm going to go through and give you best practices as to how to write each segment so that you are, at the end of the day, telling a story, because that is what a grant application is. It's an opportunity for you to tell your story. And yes, all of you will get a copy of this replay. Absolutely. I'm here to help you. I'm not going to charge for this replay. You're going to get it for free. All right, so don't worry at all. I need for you to get this information, but make sure you share it with others. Now, the first section of the grant application is the mission statement. It is critical. Whether you are a nonprofit or a for-profit, you still need a mission statement. It doesn't only define who you are and your goals and your aims, but it also will align you to the organization that wants to give you funding. Because if your mission is about K through 12 education, you need to be seeking funding from a foundation that also has a mission that is passionate about K through 12 education. All right. Next, this section is how you are going to set your application apart from everybody else's. It's how you describe your organization. I need for all of you to focus on one word: impact. What has been the impact of your organization on the people that you serve? And you need to use real numbers. In other words, track your success. Do you have a homeless ministry? How many homeless people do you place in shelters? And once they get into the shelters, what happens to them? Are they able to then get a GED or go back to school, or maybe get maybe permanent housing? Track your success. Do you have an LLC, a restaurant that you open? How many people do you serve every year? How many people do you hire? You give someone a job, you're changing their life right now. And maybe you have some additional programming for the community. Maybe you operate maybe a cooking school on the side. Track your success. Maybe you haven't even opened. If you have not yet opened, you still need to think about impact using real numbers. But now you're going to project. You're going to say, let's say you have a tutoring organization. You want to tutor high school kids. You can write in the grant application, I project that once my program is implemented and those students complete my tutoring program in reading, I expect them to increase their reading scores by 2% or 5%, right? You can project if you have not already opened, but you still need to think about what your impact has been, what you want it to be, what you expect it to be, using real numbers. This is how foundations are giving grant money right now. It has to be about more than I just want to help the world, right? Measure, track your success. All right. And then when you write, you must write as if you are addressing an issue, solving a problem. And what is that problem? Only you know that. Are you opening up a restaurant because maybe there are no soul food restaurants within 10 miles of the location? Right? Why are you opening? What is the issue that you are solving? And there's always an issue. There's always a problem. Let's say you want to open up a bakery in a downtown community. You know, you might be thinking, what is the problem there? She's making cakes, right? Maybe she decided to open because in the area it was maybe economically deprived and she wants to contribute to the economic development of that area. Or maybe it's a specialized bakery, like a bakery for vegans, because vegans really don't have a lot of great places, right, to buy baked goods. This is how you write. What's making you different? Why did you open? What was the issue? What was the need? Because whatever that need is going to lead you to the foundation that wants to give you grant money. Because guess what? That's where they're giving their grant money. That's why you have to know where and how foundations give. And how do you find that out? You go to their websites. Now, we know 90% of foundations don't have a website, but you can still do your research and find information out about them. Because whatever that area is that you're implementing, make sure it's the same area that the foundation is giving grant money in. It will save you a lot of time and effort. Now, all of you must make a decision when you approach a foundation. Are you asking for operating money or program project money? Operating money we love, because when you get an operating grant, you decide where to put the money. It could go towards a lease or staff, contractors. You want to build a website for your organization, marketing, IT. About 32% of grant money is provided in general operating support. Most grant money is provided to a program or a project. And yes, small businesses can have programs and projects too. Let's take that restaurant. Maybe she wants to start a delivery service, or maybe start a program where she's teaching how to cook to the community. She's offering cooking lessons. She can ask for money for both. All right. Whatever you do, though, you should always be applying to more than one grant, always. Like, this is not a one and done. So I want you to let me know in the chat. Let me see in the chat why you think it is important that you always apply to multiple foundations, not just one and done. This is not a one and done industry. This is like not a sprint. This is a marathon. So let me know in the chat. Why do you absolutely, Alicia, better chances of winning. Better chances of winning, but also guess what? Grants are not guaranteed. People, I need for you to be very careful. In the 17 years I've been in this industry, I have heard horror stories. I mean, really, real horror stories about people being scammed. Somebody told them they could guarantee them grant money. Oh, if you come here, everybody wins. I see it on social media a lot. Apply here, everybody wins, everybody is going to get grant money. No, 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 no. So be careful. 99.9% of the time, it's a scam. All right. Now, you all must have community partners. That's the only way this is going to work. In the 17 years I've been in business, I can assure you that you cannot do it alone. Foundations literally expect you to work with other organizations in the community to implement your programming or your services. Doesn't matter if you are a nonprofit or a for-profit. This becomes very important for a number of reasons, and it will strengthen your grant application if you can write down the names of especially well-respected organizations that you're partnering with. I'll give you one easy one. Libraries. Libraries should be on everybody's radar screen. They're criminally underutilized. Because guess what? Let's say you have an accounting firm. You could give a tax talk at your local library. You would have a willing audience. The library, by the way, is going to promote you. And now you're going to be seen as an expert. What does that do? It raises your level of visibility in your community because foundations that provide grant money, they're always looking and seeking, right? And observing who's doing what in the community. So it gives you authority. So whether it's other universities, other women's business organizations, Greek organizations, find a way to partner. And also these partners can refer you to other funding opportunities in the community. Let me show you how simple this can be. Let's say a young lady has an ex-offender program. She wants to make sure that people who are released back into society become successful members of their community. So she has an ex-offender program. I want you to tell me in the chat who you think she should be meeting. Who should she be partnering with in the community? Now, keep in mind, she must interview the inmates before they are released just to make sure they qualify for her program. But who do you think she should be meeting with? An ex-offender program. She wants to make sure that once they are released from jail, they become successful so that they don't go back. So who do you think she should be meeting with? Absolutely, probation department. So that they know, so that maybe they can actually help place this person or place these people, right? Local businesses, Constance. Yes, Leisha, probation, local businesses. You know why? Because a lot of local businesses hire ex-offenders and you want them to be gainfully employed, right? You want them to be able to earn a legal living. And yes, absolutely, ML. Other nonprofits who serve similar audiences, you know why that's important? Because you can't serve everybody. So you need a referral system. So maybe they come out of the jail and they have addictions. You want to be able to refer them to social service agencies. So she should be meeting with social service agencies. Do you see how this works? It's not difficult, really. This is your homework. I need for all of you to come up with 5 organizations that you are going to partner with in your community based on your organization, based on your program or your project or your service. Name 5, right? That is your homework. Okay. And guess what? When you complete your grant application, you don't need to have already solidified those partnerships. You can still write their names down and say, I have plans to meet and collaborate with them. All right. Now we're on to the money. The grant budget is exactly where you are going to lay out how you are expending the grant funding. And what you must do is itemize those expenses. You can't write, I need 50 grand to hire an executive director. That's not enough. Is it a contracted person? What is the hourly rate? How many hours would the person work a week? How many weeks out of the year? Is it a salary position? What are the salaries? that you're paying, and what are the benefits? You need supplies. How many supplies do you need? And who is going to be using those supplies? Now, how you describe your use of the grant money goes into the budget narrative. The actual money typically goes into an Excel file. But here's a tip. I always include a budget narrative, even if the grant application doesn't ask for one, because I want them to know that I know that I need to connect the money back to my mission and the foundation's mission. So whatever I'm spending money on should lift up my mission and lift up their mission as well. All right. Now, this is the one slide. This is it here. If you don't take anything else away from this webinar, this is it. Because oftentimes this is how grants are funded, all things being equal. You need to meet with the foundation. Yes, you need to build a relationship. You need to meet with them before you submit that grant application. You want to meet with them because oftentimes in that meeting, they're going to give you insight into the grant that's not even on the website. I probably set up 1,000 of these over the last 16 years. I always remember one meeting, 30 minutes, $30,000. And it was a Zoom meeting, by the way. Most of these meetings are going to be Zoom meetings. Now, if you live in close proximity to the foundation, meet with them in person. But if not, these are Zoom meetings. And they are critical because getting grant money is not a money grab. It's about setting up relationships with the foundations. They want to get to know you so that if you get the grant one time, you can come back and get it again and again and again because you've established that relationship. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking like, Linda, I still don't have time. I don't have time to write these grants. Remember what I said at the beginning, though, that some grant applications are what? 2 and 3 pages. And guess what? AI will give you your time back. Artificial intelligence, ChatGPT will give you your time back. It will allow you to write grants faster and better and easier. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I have another question for you, especially those of you who are thinking, oh, Linda, this sounds good, but I don't have time. I have a question I would like an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Like, let me see in the chat if anybody has time to get free money. I don't think anybody has time to get free money. Oh, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. It appears as if you got, oh, I'm saying absolutely. I'm saying another absolutely. So it appears as if you got time to get some free money. So if you got the time to get the free money, spend just a little time on the process to get the free money. All right. Now, before we even go to the grant research, I'm going to go back to this screen because I need to share with you quickly what you need to do to make this happen. You're going to send an email to the foundation. It's an introductory email. But in that email, you are aligning your mission and your programming to their mission and where they fund. And you want to set up a meeting with them. And whatever you do, do not ask for money in the email because you're going to get a rejection letter. Set up the meeting. In the meeting, you ask for the money. Got it? Never, ever, ever ask for money in that email. Ask for a meeting. Now, when you conduct your grant research, go to grant portals. Google is fine, but you really need to go to a portal where their existence is based on them providing you with information about available grant money. The Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on grants in the US. It's $50 a month or totally free at your local library. Totally free. Grants.gov, yes, there are still federal grants available, by the way. Lilly Foundation, if you have a faith-based organization or a church, they're the largest funder of religious organizations. I like Grant Watch. They're $20 a week or $200 for the whole month. Now they give you the synopsis of the grant and the details about the grant and the sponsor of the grant and the contact information and the deadline. Grant Watch. Grant Station I also like because they give you a lot of free training and information about the grant and the organization. Now, UrbanAwarenessUSA.org, they're Black owned, and they drop probably information on 3 to 4 grants every single week. So sign up for their free newsletter. Tell them Linda sent you. Now, I want to show you really quickly, how do you conduct the grant research? This is Grant Watch, $20 a week, $200 for the whole year. Check whether you are a nonprofit or a business. Now look to my left. You start applying these filters. Who are you helping? What state do you live in? Who is your target population? Input the information and push a button, and you will get a list of grants. All right. Now, let me say something to you all about location. Please start local. Too many of you are seduced by these large dollar national or international grants. Start local. There's money in your backyard. Whether it's through your local community foundation or your local corporations, it's easier to get local grant money. But yes, expand out as well. Go outside of your state for sure. You got to do both. Because there may be a foundation in Texas that's giving money to you and you're in Tennessee. All right. So local and national, and for my international friends, this is absolutely for you as well. You could live in the United States and serve a population in Portugal and get grant money. All right. This is not just for U.S. organizations. So this is grant research. Now, I just want to show you just a little mini list of grants so that you understand that grants are plentiful right now. Regardless of what you are seeing in the news, they're just not coming from the federal government. But there are, what do we see? $189 billion will be released this year. HelloAlice.com, that's an organization that lists grants for women-owned businesses, the Main Street grant. Right now, if you have a brick and mortar store, there's a grant for you. Amber Grants for Women, they're giving away $30,000 every single month for women-led businesses. Do you need a significant amount of money? Go to 37angels.com. They're funding only women's organizations up to $150,000. I Fund Women, they have a lot of international grants. Sky's the limit. Startup grants for Sky's the limit. And you see Amarillo out of Texas, they serve super small organizations. And this is what I want you to know. You don't have to be some large conglomerate to get a grant. You can be a solopreneur and get a grant. And also, you don't need to have some huge organizational chart. You can, have an all volunteer nonprofit. Yes, all volunteer organizations get grants too. All right, so be encouraged. Be encouraged. Now, really quickly, I want you to drop into the chat. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money, while I take a sip. Banks and money. Tell me what comes to your mind. Not collateral. True. True. Do you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money? Grant money. What I'm trying to get you to understand, ladies, is that grant money comes from thousands of resources, not just the federal government, banks, and it doesn't even have to be your bank. It could be a bank, but maybe a great footprint in your community. Maybe there's a regional office or a headquarters office. I'm going to give you 4 hot leads right now. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, Truist. They're providing grant money, all 4 of them. And there are many, 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 many others. That's why the grant research is so important. I'm dropping those links in the chat. And I talked about ChatGPT. This is what I want you to know. Please use it as a tool and never a replacement. There is no magic button. There's nothing that you're going to press and poof, automatically, all of a sudden you get the magical grant application. It doesn't exist. You have to feed AI. You have to feed it your information about your organization, which means there's no getting around you needing to write about your mission, write about your need statement, write about your project or your service, because nobody knows that better than you. Put it into AI, feed it into AI so that it can improve it, edit it, retool it, expand it, but you've got to be able to write it first. And that is where my bonus surprise comes in, because I created a grant writing course so that you know how to write about your organization. So that when you are submitting these applications, it will place you in a much better position to get grants. This is a proven course. This is how I won $17 million in grants. I put it in a course so that you could do the same. And your secret weapon is going to be me because I'm going to serve as your grant coach, right? The course will teach you how to write every part of the grant application. It will teach you how to conduct the best grant research techniques so that you're finding the grants. But here's where the coaching comes in. Let's say you are able to set up the meeting with the foundation. Do you know what to say in the meeting? Do you know how to say it? Do you know what you never leave that meeting without knowing? We have a private Facebook group. You come into the private Facebook group, you ask your questions, and we will help you, right? We will help you. That becomes important. Now, the course will teach you how to write your grant budget, but do you know how much money to ask for? Should it be program project money or operating money? We are here to help you, all right? At a fraction of what we should be charging, literally a fraction, because I'm just committed to helping organizations and providing them with affordable resources because I don't want to be another hurdle. I don't want my pricing structure to be another obstacle. This course, you get 12 modules and 35 lessons and videos and help. Because when you are answering the questions in the lesson, you will end up with a grant template. You're going to use that template to start applying for grants again and again and again. This is why it's easier and faster. Do the work here with our help. We're here to help you so that you can get to that grant template so that you can start applying for grant after grant after grant. And yes, we give you real examples of grants so that you see what a winning grant application looks like, right? That is important. In my 17 years, I've been hired to create grant applications, to create grant questions. I've utilized those questions in the course. So this is created to help you. And you even get course bonuses, a list of over 600 funders. The private Facebook group, you come in and you get the help that you need. And you even get an hour of monthly group coaching. And the last one was just last night. We were on for 2 hours, because I don't leave until every question has been answered. I'm here to help you. And when I say the course is at a fraction of what it's worth, it is. I've had it audited 3 times. This is the value of the course. It's a $5,000 course. Audited 3 times. A $5,000 course is what the auditors are saying. But that's not what you're being charged. The modules, the lessons, the videos, the funding lists, the workbooks, and the planners and the grant trackers. This is what I want you to see here. You're not paying $5,000. It's usually $997. I have a special going from there because I know what's happening right now this year. It's challenging for a lot of people. So it's $497, but guess what? You hopped on the webinar, so you're not even going to pay that. You get to take $200 off because you came on the live webinar. It's $297. One payment, one and done, to help get you grant funding. I don't even know over $300 grants. So the first grant you get, you pay for the course, but now you're getting help all along the way. This includes everything that I talked about, by the way, including the live group coaching with me. You're paying one payment and you're done. $297, but you've got to use the code JULY15. Or we have a 2-month payment plan. If that's easier for you, $175 a month for 2 months, and then you're done. If you use the code, just put a little T on the end of the code so that we know you want the 2-month payment plan. And then you read right at the end, the course never expires. It doesn't. So you get the course, the Facebook group. We're here to help you. The coaching, it's all tax deductible. You get a certificate when you're done. And I have templates to help you. Remember I said you need to talk to the foundations, send them an email. I have that letter for you. I have a template. Remember I talked about the partnerships, how important it is for you to have partners. I have a letter that you can send to potential partners. I have a grant application that is a template. I have financial templates. We're here to help you get this grant money. And this has become a proven course. You've got 3 days if you want to take the additional $200 off. If you want it for $297, you have 3 days. Use the code JULY15. because it expires after the 3 days. You can pay the $4.97 if you want, but why when you can get it for $2.97? I say you're going to be paying a fraction. Trust me, I have friends who charge $2,000 for their grant writing course, and you get no access to them, and you certainly don't get what you're getting here. This is less than $300, people, to finally get you the help that you need so that you're not frustrated and not knowing where do I go? How do I write? Who should I be approaching for grant funding? And I talked to you about AI. I created the AI grant guide, 10 steps to easier and faster grant writing. It's a $200 value. You get it free. I'm just throwing it in because I don't want you to say I don't have the time. AI will give you the time back. And I have a tutorial, a video tutorial, takes you through the entire booklet so that you know how to use AI, make your life better if you're applying for grants. So if you want the course, the link is in the chat. When you click the link, let's say you want to pay the $297, click the link. You're getting a $200 coupon, a discount off of the $497. So hit the $497, you'll get to this page here. And you have a coupon. Input your coupon code. It will take off $200. You're left with $297. And you see this little block here. This is a private VIP session with me. We will sit down, we will meet. I will go through your organization. I will review your mission, your vision, your infrastructure, your programming, your programming. And you leave with a little list of mini grants. It's normally $4.95 because you get the strategy notes and you get the video. The only time you'll see it for $195 is if you buy it with the course. With the course. You can add it. All right. We also have Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna. So for those of you who just want the one payment of $297, you can actually stretch those out over 4 months, same as cash. When you go to pay, make sure you put in your coupon code. And when you go to pay, keep hitting the payment method boxes that say pay another way. You might have to do that twice until you see Affirm, Klarna, or Afterpay. That's only if you want to use the 4 months, same as cash. We certainly take credit cards and bank statements and PayPal, Cash App, and Google Pay. All right. And then, of course, we have the payment plan here, 2 times $275. But that's not what you're paying, right? You have a coupon. You're only paying $175 a month for 2 months. So input that coupon. It will take $100 off. You're paying $175 a month. All right. For those of you who want something a little extra, it's pretty intense. It's my boot camp. I teach you 2 months worth of grant writing in 2 days. So I teach you how to use AI. We're going to find your funding list. You're going to leave with a list of funders, a list of grants. You're going to leave with a completed grant application and your grant template. Literally is valued at like $10,000. It's $1,997. 7 hours a day for 2 days. Keisha took the boot camp February 27th and 28th. 8 weeks later, she had a $100,000 grant. She had never written a grant in her life before. All right, so that's available. The link is in the chat. These are people who, they just bought the $300 course. Nicola last month won $250,000. She didn't even write a grant for $250,000. But this is how great her grant application was because she took the course. She applied for a $50,000 grant over 2 years. They looked at the grant application and said, look, we need to counteroffer. How about $250,000 if you can expand this to other locations? Right? She had never written grants before. Whitney didn't think she was going to get any grant money. I have created a framework. They're following the course. They're following my framework. You go local, you go national. This is what Whitney did. She ended up with $200,000. Kanisha, $100,000. Kimberly, 2 months ago, $84,000. Cherie, last month, $11,000. A massage company won $20,000. A massage company, by the way, really doesn't matter what you do as long as you're doing something legal. You can find and win grant funding. Christina has an online educational consulting firm. You don't need a brick and mortar. And she won $10,000. Had never written a grant before. She said, Linda, I didn't even have the confidence. But she took the course. She won grant money. All right. All right. It is Q&A time. It's Q&A time. Now, before we get to the Q&A, I need all of you to do something for you and not for me. Because I believe in manifestation, people. It is time. Like there are opportunities. There's so much money available right now. So I want you to put into the chat right now. I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money right now. All of you into the chat. Do it for you. This is about manifestation. This is about placing yourself in a position to move forward. Because I know people procrastinate, but the grant money is available and you're still using your own money when there's $190 billion out there of free grant money to you, right? That's what I'm talking about. Priscilla, Constance, Leisha, I'm ready to get grant money. All right. I'm going to check to see if there are any questions. I don't see any in the Q&A box. So I'm going to go to the webinar chat. So you've got you've got 3 days to get the $200 discount. It's $297. You come into the community, you get the help you need, you start writing grants, and organizations are winning grant money. All right. Let's see. You've got 3 days. So when I say tax deductible, if you are a small business, you write off the course. You write it off as a business expense or an educational expense. If you are a nonprofit, you don't pay taxes, but it is a business expense, right? Let's see. Questions? Let me just make sure that I'm not missing any questions. Let me know. There's still time. Drop your questions if you have any. Hopefully, I will see you in the course. Hopefully, just move forward, whatever you do. If you're going to be seeking grants, please come into some community. Like, don't try to do this on your own. It gets too frustrating. It can be frustrating. Not knowing where to go, not knowing how to write this particular grant. Be in a community of support where you can get the help you need and get your questions answered. And for those of you who are buying the course, when you come into the Facebook group, which is phenomenal, or there are so many grants placed in the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you to give me a synopsis of your organization. When you do that, I'm going to give you links immediately to grants because I want you to get off to a good start. So you come into the Facebook group, answer my question about your organization, just 3 or 4 sentences, and I'm going to give you some links to grants based on your organization because I want you to do well. All right? All right. I don't see any questions at all. So I want to thank all of you for hopping on. Whatever you do, keep moving forward. Keep looking for this grant funding. Hopefully I will see you in the grant course and in the Facebook group sometime this week. You've got 3 days until Friday. So hopefully I will see you in this course so that you can finally get the help that you need. The grant money is available. It's available. So place yourself in a position to get it. All right. And make sure you put my email on your safe senders list because you're going to get an email with the replay, right? And then if you want to buy the course, the special discount code and the links. So be sure you put hello at Grant Writing for Non-Writers into your email list and share this information. If you could place the link, Melissa, for the upcoming webinars, share this information because there are other women's organizations that need to know that there's grant money. There's free grant money available, right? You just can't absorb everything you see on TV because so much of the information is incorrect. All right, so thank you so much. Have a blessed and a safe rest of your week. Keep moving forward. And remember, your success is on the other side of your fear. It's on the other side of your fear because you can do this. All right. And one of these days you want to be giving a testimonial, right? All right. Again, my name is Linda Peavy, creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals, and owner of LaPaul Consulting. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will hopefully see all of you in this course throughout the week. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.